So what ends up happening is he continues to get excellent cases and wins tons of money.
But everything is not as it seemed, was it?
So he ends up like scheming sort of with his CFO, and they ends up coming up with it. Essentially, it ends up turning into like a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Welcome back to another episode of Unseen Impact with Rory and Kerrie. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rory Pendergast, the main attorney at Rory Law. Kerrie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So at Unseen Impact, what we like to do is look at the unseen aspect of personal injury, the unseen aspect of the law, talk about stories, talk about kind of what people go through who are going through these sort of legal issues, and to cover kind of a bunch of things, even when the personal injury kind of teeters and goes into the criminal side. Ooh, criminal side.
Yeah, or bad attorneys.
Or bad attorneys. And so, I mean, so today what we're going to look at is a rotten apple, a bad attorney, and I think talking a little bit about what good attorneys do and should be doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the biggest kind of true crime. I mean, everybody. I'm an attorney, and people say, "Hey, what do I do?"
Everyone wants to know what you think about criminal cases.
And what I love though is you got to talk to my wife.
Right. So I'm the true crime enthusiast. Shout out to my SSDGM friends out there. But so today we're going to do a little bit of like a true crime / legal crossover.
Doom.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Well, tell me about it. What do you got? What do you got?
Okay, so this comes from last week. We were at an event and you were talking to another attorney and you were talking specifically about this guy.
Really?
Yes. And I was like,
that?
Jen.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like, that's so interesting. Like, I didn't know all of these things because it has like, first of all, it involves the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
The crowd goes wild. Come on.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
That's crazy, right? Like this whole story has like it involves like a Hollywood movie. Like all of these things. So, okay. So there's this guy and his name is, hold on, I don't know. Okay. So Thomas Girardi, he's born in like 1939 in Denver, Colorado. At some point he moves to LA with his family. He goes to high school there. He goes to Loyola and he gets his bachelor's degree and his law degree. Then he goes to like NYU and gets an LLM. I don't know what that is exactly.
It's just like a master's in law.
Why do you need that after you get a JD? He's an overachiever.
You want to be fancy.
He wants to be fancy.
I don't know what you need to do with that.
He is fancy. He's clearly a diligent student.
I don't think he ever was. But.
So he gets the LLM along with the JD.
He's a student and must have been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he must have been really smart. He did all these things.
On the evil side of things.
Well, we'll get to, don't ruin it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
So he starts a law practice with some guy, I think his last name is like Keese. So anyway, they have this practice. Girardi Keese. Very
well known.
So, and they're in LA.
And now infamous.
And so they have this law practice and it turns out like Girardi, not Giardia.
Sometimes maybe.
Girardi, he ends up getting like the first, it was a personal injury case.
It was a medical malpractice case in the 70s where he hit for more than $1 million.
And that was the first one.
And it was a lot of money then. It was a big deal.
It was a really big deal. So this guy's like a big deal, right? He's
the cat's meow.
Yeah, so he was, he's doing the thing, right? He's practicing law. He's like doing awesome. He's becoming sort of this rock star.
He's who everyone wants to be.
And so
wanted.
Then there's like the whole Erin Brockovich thing, right? So there's like the PG&E case. So in like the 60s and 70s, Pacific Gas and Electric.
They're using a chemical to stop rust.
On their pipes.
To stop rust. And these chemicals leach into the groundwater.
Yep.
And you know what? They don't go away.
No.
They're there forever.
Right.
And then you have this entire community who is making use of this water. They're drinking it. They're showering with it. They're watering their plants. They're watering their grass. They're playing around with it. And what do you know? Everybody gets sick.
Everybody gets sick.
Everybody gets sick.
And so if you haven't seen the Erin Brockovich movie,
It's a good movie.
It's really good. Julia Roberts.
It's a great
Everyone
movie.
loves Julia Roberts.
It's a great movie.
So anyway, great movie. That was his case.
He was the one. He was the big name that was brought in. Mm-hmm. And they had a big result.
And they like $333 million.
Which in back then was a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money today.
It's a lot of money today, but it was really a lot of money then.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's who we're talking about, right? So everyone
wants to be him. Wanted to be him.
Yeah. Oh, really? Is that
well,
true?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't. I like my hair, but you know.
So he has a couple wives. He's married 3 times. And with this third wife, this is the one where...
This is the third wife.
Yeah, the third wife she has like I don't know a lot about her.
Production company of some sort.
She wants to be an actress. So anyway, she is on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And he is too.
He makes cameos.
Yeah, he makes cameos. And like, they have this crazy lavish lifestyle.
Oh, you were telling me something about the grotesque spending.
The grotesque, like 40. She had like a $40,000 a month.
Like spending allowance.
Yeah, for like
Oh, $40,000 a month.
Just to like glam. It was like for glam.
I could be painful for all of us and try to do the math on that per year, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I guess I $480,000. So yeah, it's a lot of money. So anyway, so what ends up happening is he continues to get excellent cases and wins tons of money.
But everything is not as it seemed, was it?
So he ends up like scheming sort of with his CFO, and they ends up coming up with it. Essentially, it ends up turning into like a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
So they end up taking some of the winnings here, putting it towards, other cases, but
putting it towards their own pockets.
Putting it in their own pockets, and telling
these are terrible.
And telling the clients like, no, it's wrapped up in tax money. You didn't win that much.
So hold on. What you're saying is they are lying to their clients. This isn't just telling them stories. This is
true.
Outright lying to their stories.
Right.
Which, I think human decency says you shouldn't do.
Right.
As an attorney, you have a fiduciary duty, which means that you have kind of a higher, you owe your client more than you owe just the random person.
Right.
And then you've got all these rules with the state bar and other things, which I think you've got a thing to say about later on.
Right. But also it gives attorneys a bad name. Like this is where the good attorney jokes come from guys like this, right? The ambulance chasers, the people who, embezzle the money. So then there was the big case, the other one with the guy with the burns.
So there's a couple of them. One, you have the Indonesian airline case.
Oh, the Indonesian.
And then you have the guy who got severely burned. I think he got $40 or $50 million. So what that means,
and he only got I think that he only ends up getting like $2 million.
So out of $50 million, this guy should end up with 20 on the super low end, $20 million, maybe $25 million. You put that into some sort of structure, and that money, it grows. It goes that 20 million.
Oh, because he thought it was in an annuity.
And why did he think that?
Well, that's what his attorney told him. But do people know what an annuity is? So, I didn't know before.
So with the annuity, it's like a structured settlement. If you get a settlement, it could be as low as $10,000. But when you get millions of dollars, you put it into this fund. You never see the money. It goes into this fund, and then it'll pay you typically for your lifetime, right? And usually it's at least 20 years. And if you were to pass away, then it goes to your beneficiary. But it pays for this timeline, or sometimes for as long as you live. So if you lived to 90, you're the one who's... You live to 90, you're going big. But the whole point is, exactly how it's all very transparent. Mm-hmm. It's all very upfront. Down to the penny what you're putting into it, and down to the penny every single month what you're going to get out of it.
Because you do these?
I do these. We do these. And some of them over time, you can get double the amount of money that what goes into it.
Oh, because it goes to sit in it like it's invested, or does it just have an interest rate? It depends.
It's the huge financial companies, Prudential, MetLife, these big, rock solid financial companies. They want your money so they can go invest it.
Right.
And what they do is they say, hey, if you give me your $100,000, your $1 million, your $20 million today, every month for the rest of your life, I'm going to give you X amount of money. And it just poof, magically appears in your account. Mm-hmm. And although you gave them the 20 million or you gave them the 1 million, you might end up with out the door 2.5 million or 3 million over the lifetime. I mean, over 20 or 30 years, but that's real money.
That's good money.
That's good money.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So that's what the poor guy thought.
Yeah. Isn't that so sad?
So, and here's what I just want to say is, so you think, hey, but this guy got $2.5 million. If you look at, hey, I didn't get $2.5 million, but in order to get, he didn't get $50 million just because Girardi was a master at his craft, right?
Right.
He got $50 million because this guy got hurt.
Right.
And that's the one thing I tell people is that, hey, high value means you're hurt badly. And between health and money, I'd rather have the health every day.
Right. And I think that's what people say all the time. If they lose a loved one and they get a bunch of money, they're like, I'd rather have my person here. Yeah.
But anyways, you're telling us.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's starting to unravel. Things are getting ugly.
Like what time is this? What time frame are we looking at?
In like 2019-ish.
2019-ish.
Yeah, 2019-ish. The House of
bell
Cards
is starting to ring.
Yeah. And so as this all unfolds, like his Real Housewife divorces him. Things start to fall apart. He gets arrested. He gets diagnosed with like early onset Alzheimer's.
Oh, well, hold on. Wait a minute. So he gets arrested for stealing tens of millions of dollars and he just magically has dementia and Alzheimer's.
I'm telling you the facts from, my research, Wall Street Journal, Wikipedia, etc.
No, I see. No, I see what you're saying. But
but it's true. No, I think you make a good point. It's like, okay, suddenly whatever. But it's so crazy, right? So now, he
just stole all of these poor people's money. That's what I want to look at is he stole their money.
I know, it's
they
terrible.
Stole their money.
I know. So so what happened was just in June. Okay, so we have to put my glasses on.
June of this year.
Yeah. So let's see, sentencing. So it says on June 3rd, 2025, he was sentenced to 87 months, which is 7 years and 3 months in federal prison, along with a $35,000 fine, which is like a joke.
What is that?
And a $2.3 million in restitution.
Which seems kind of funny.
What's restitution? That's like what you're supposed to give back?
He has to pay back to his victims.
But like that's...
But I read something that in a deposition, somebody asked him at one point, how much money did you have in cash? And he said in cash, he had somewhere between 50 and 80 million dollars in cash. And all he has to pay back is this?
I know.
I mean, this is, as an attorney, this makes me mad.
Well, it says
my
that
blood is boiling.
there's like a litigation funders lawsuit.
Okay.
So it says the bankruptcy trustee sued the litigation financing companies for collaborating in Gerardi's misuse of client funds, and those claims include at least 14 million of misappropriated funds and the use of client trust accounts as a personal bank.
Yeah.
So there's over 680 claims totaling 495 million.
Well, so that's good. And so, I mean, some of it, so they call it the trust account. It's called an IOLTA, which is an interest on lawyer's trust account. It's heavily regulated by the state bar.
Right.
Right. And so the state bar, I've got one. The state bar can go into it. They can look at it. And it's just because that's the money that goes in. It's your client's money. And,
right.
and you have to think about it. That is not your piggy bank. And this is what they were using it as.
Right.
And rightfully so, he should be disbarred. He should be thrown in jail.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
They should go out. And then this is the other funny thing is that I'm sure that the folks that thought they had an annuity.
I know.
I mean, there must have been some sort of
sad,
paperwork that showed it. So I can see the bankruptcy trustee going after every wrongdoer. This is what's so wild about it. You know, I remember years ago you hear about Britney Spears and how like she had the business, the economy around her. She in essence, her presence, the cottage industry employed like 100,000 people.
Right.
And so you think about the cottage industry of
around this guy, yeah.
And then the one kicker on this one is, I mean, over the years, from like the early 80s until he was disbarred, there were hundreds of state bar complaints against him. And
that's right. So people were trying to tell the bar, like, hey, this guy's he's a bad actor.
And he was buying them off.
But he was buying. So they were having parties, right? Didn't you say that?
Having parties. They were giving him gifts. It was wrong and gross and grotesque in every imaginable way.
Because he was like friends with them all, giving all these folks gifts. And then all of these calls are coming in and they're all like, do.
I know. And on the backside of it, the entire purpose of what we're here for is to help people get justice, which in our system, the only justice, the attorney can't unbreak your arm. All the attorney can do is get you money for that broken arm.
Right.
That is what the civil justice system is.
Right. So what's crazy is the people who didn't get paid, their issue is with lawyers in a legal system, which is like so awful.
Well, so
to go back into all of that.
I know that we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
That, somebody feels as though, it could be something small, they feel as though they're wronged. And so it's that question of how do they get from, they've got no connection to any attorneys other than the billboards and the commercials and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And how do they go from, hey, I think I was wronged and I want to call the attorney. Mm-hmm. And so what we are trying to do is say, hey, call us, call me, call the good attorneys, and we're there to help you. And then something like this happens. I know. It makes it so hard for those of us just trying to do right to tell people.
Right.
Not everyone is a sociopath.
Well, I feel like what's interesting is people who would choose him to be their attorney would have all this trust in him. He's got this excellent reputation. He wins these giant cases. I mean, there's the movie. He's on the Real Housewives. This is the person you trust, right? Oh,
yeah, there's a movie on...
why wouldn't you trust him?
There's a docuseries on Hulu about it.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the office thing.
And there is... Gary Dordick is interviewed on it, who is a phenomenal attorney and a wonderful human who cares for his people. And so he took over Girardi's office, probably got a sweet deal on it. I mean, it's huge.
Good for him.
But I saw one part of it, and there's this giant warehouse. Looks like you'd park like 30 or 40 cars there. And he said that's where they kept the files.
Shut up.
So, and now granted, in the days of LA law, you had a lot of files. Now I keep everything on your phone. It's electronic. Right. But still, to have that sort of space, it meant that it was on such a large scale. And so what we're hearing about today are the Indonesia flights, somebody who lost $50 million. But what about somebody who loses $100,000 or even $20,000?
Sure.
And they could just be skimming off the top.
That's right. Well, because it said so he was in cahoots with the CFO. And so that means it's not just Girardi's cases. It's like, it's all the cases at the law firm. And so of course then the law firm, they were forced to file for bankruptcy.
Well,
it wasn't like some people choose because they try to do things,
I get what
but
you're saying.
They were forced to do that.
Well, and
it says that
if he's got Alzheimer's and can't do anything.
Well, it said that the CFO went down too. And he actually, what's crazy is it says like that guy, it said that his last name is Cayman.
The CFO.
What did I say?
No, I'm asking.
The CFO. Okay. He's the co-conspirator.
Yeah.
He received 10 years in prison.
Good.
And that was in April of 2025. So this just happened. Yes. Oh, wow. And he was ordered to repay $9 million.
I just don't understand why it's just so low.
Yeah.
It should be more. I mean, I guess what you're saying, the trustees going after these other
so that's the other
pockets.
piece. So that guy, he's going down too. Well, he went down, which is crazy.
Good.
I know.
And so the result of that on the attorney side of things is, so the state, what we're talking about, this guy was terrible human. And he didn't go bad. He was bad. But very smart, genius smart. And the bar had decades of knowing what to do about it. Right. They did nothing except now what they've done is that as a result is that they've just have more regulations for regular attorneys.
Right. Like what?
So, for instance, it's just more sort of certifications about the way in which you're handling trust funds, just extra steps that you have to document for the bar, And here's the thing is if you're doing it right, like most attorneys are, if you're doing it right, it's not a big deal. But it's just one of those items to where I don't need to have a regulation in place for something that I'm doing already. Or it's just like, it's almost like it's regulating the regulation that's there. And the issue I have with it isn't as much with the act of doing it. In fact, I actually like it. Yeah. Clear the level field, make it more transparent, do everything you can.
Right.
But the thing that's kind of irks me is the bar had its hand in this, and their response was not, I apologize, we can do better. It's, well, we're going to put this on more attorneys. And I mean, so what I'm looking at this is, even though I'm not the biggest fan of true crime, this one is kind of an interesting story for me.
Right.
It's salacious. It's Erin Brockovich.
I know.
It's Erin Brockovich.
Like people know Erin Brockovich, but I don't think anyone knows about what happened because it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It was a big deal with us. But I guess what it comes down to is it's still, so you know what this comes down to is that for kind of the unseen impact is looking at at the smallest case, the biggest case, the most important thing is trust. Right? Trust between the client and the attorney.
Right.
And for me, the kind of the moral of the story is that.
Right.
And so, you can't regulate trust. Trust you have to be earned. Trust can easily be lost.
Right.
I guess when I want to look at something kind of the shining moment from this is it gives the good attorneys the opportunity to get out here to talk about these sort of cases, to show that this isn't how we operate, and to prove our trust, because trust is just words. So the only way you can build trust is by proving the trust. And so I like this story for this podcast, so we can kind of wrap it back and say, at Rory Law, we're not here just to say, hey, trust us, we care. We're here to kind of show you what we're doing and show you why you should trust us. And then, and the biggest thing is this: ask questions. Not only that, hey, should I call Rory? Should I ask him questions? Yes, you should call. You should do this.
Always call.
And at any point throughout the process, whether you're with Rory Law or you're with another attorney, if you think something, like the airport, if you see something, say something. It's the same sort of thing. If you have a question about anything, other people haven't, and it's your right to be able to say it. So, Kerrie?
Yes.
Thank you for that story.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any last little bits on that one?
No, I just think that it's, really interesting what...
Girardi.
It's just an interesting story.
It is. It's wild. I mean, that's, we've said this before, but this is like Shakespeare. Shakespeare would love this sort of stuff.
Right, yes.
But as to it, we want to thank you for joining us here at Unseen Impact. We want to remind you that we are here all the time. So you can find us on all of the social media platforms. We would like you to rate, review, subscribe, follow. You can listen to the podcast on all of your favorite podcast platform. You can watch the podcast on YouTube. I want to thank Kerrie again, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Yay.